G'day guys, my name's Nick and welcome to my channel LowRangeNick, where I do videos about full driving, accessory fitting and maintenance for your four-wheel drive vehicle. In this video I'm going to give you a full walkthrough of my 2018 Isuzu MU-X and give you a review on how all the accessories have performed over the last 6 years and also how the vehicle has gone over the last 6 years and 137,000 Ks. So the first thing I want to talk about is the issues that I've had with the MU-X over the last 6 years and 137,000 Ks. So if you've been following along with my channel since I built up the vehicle, you'll know that I have had quite a lot of issues along the way. And there has been a number of times when I've contemplated selling the vehicle because it's just been so frustrating. But what I'm going to go through today is all of the issues that I have had with the vehicle, and thankfully all of the issues have been rectified under warranty. So let's get stuck into it. So starting in the engine bay, I have had 4 turbochargers replaced on the vehicle, and the most recent turbo that they've fitted to the vehicle has fixed the issue of the overboosting and the loud siren noise that they get. The other thing I've had replaced is the differential pressure sensor. So that failed not too long ago, and that's also been replaced, and that's fixed the issue of the faulty differential pressure sensor reading and going into limp mode. So the other things I've had replaced are the front 2 body mounts, so they were sagging down and I actually replaced those under warranty. I've had the cowling trims here replaced because they were fading and they were going all white, so they replaced those under warranty, and a fuel cap because that was leaking. And one of the first things I had replaced on the vehicle really early on was actually the driver's seat base. So in the metal mechanism underneath the seat base there was worn components, and every time I go around the corners it was sort of clicking and clacking. So that's been also replaced under warranty, and that has fixed the issue. Now those are all the issues that I've had repaired under warranty, and luckily all of that was under warranty, so it didn't come out of my own pocket. So the only frustration was obviously getting the vehicle there and being without the vehicle for periods of time while the repairs were being in place, but most of the time they were actually pretty good in getting the car back to me pretty quickly. So now the vehicle is out of warranty, I have actually had one more issue arise, which I'm going to have to repair myself. So that is a leaking water pump. So just last week I actually noticed some drips coming out the bottom of the water pump and leaking down onto the under tray. So it hasn't actually leaked heaps of coolant out, just a tiny little drip, but I am going to be replacing that water pump pretty soon so I don't have any issues further down the track. Now while we're in the engine bay, let's get stuck into talking about some accessories that are fitted to the vehicle and how they've performed over the last 6 years. So the first thing we have in the engine bay is the ProVent 200 catch can. So I fitted this pretty early on in the piece to remove the oil from the intake system. So it removes the oil from the crankcase ventilation system, and it does a really good job. So that has been working really well over the last couple of years, and if I had another turbo diesel vehicle I would definitely fit another ProVent 200. In the middle here you can see the all-terrain industry hard pipes. So these have been going pretty good. So the hard pipes and the rubber joiners are good, but the hose clamps that they give you with the kit are horrendous. So I'd say if you're going to get these, throw the hose clamps in the bin, get yourself some Trident ones or some T-clamps, some really good clamps, because otherwise you're going to have issues with boost leaks. So other than that, they've been working really well. And up here on the firewall I've got the diff breather kit, and this is just a kit off eBay, but it's been working really well over the last couple of years, so no issues with the lines, falling to bits or anything like that. It's still in really good condition. And that's kept the water, dirt and grime out of the diffs, transmission and the transfer case. Now let's talk about the snorkel. So I decided to fit a safari snorkel to the vehicle pretty early on in the piece, and these snorkels are great quality. The installation kits are really good, they fit perfectly, and I think they are a great addition to any four-wheel drive. So they raise the intake up, so you're getting fresher, cooler air in to the engine, and you're also reducing the risk of any water coming into the engine when you're doing river crossings. Now moving down the front of the vehicle, let's talk about the Bullbar. So I fitted the AFN Bullbar to the vehicle, and this Bullbar has held up really good to some really heavy abuse. So I've pushed over bushes, trees, it's been through rocks and dirt and mud and grime and everything, and it's been really good. So there is some chips on it from stones and that sort of thing, but it's still in great condition for the amount of use that it's had. The only downfall with the Bullbar is these rubber infill panels. So these rubber infill panels, being black, absorb the heat, dry out, and they start to crack and age pretty quickly. So that's the only issue with the AFN Bullbar, is the rubber. Other than that, I can't fault it. So in the Bullbar, I'm running the Dominator Extreme winch, and that has been working really good. So I had that in my 80 series previously to the MU-X, and the winch is still working, which is awesome. So it's working really well when I need it. And on the front here, you can see I've got the steady light bar. Now I believe it's a 22-inch steady light bar, so a single row. And this is a pretty good light bar. It's not super bright, but what I find is it's really good for just lighting up down the road that extra little bit, but it's not so much that it blinds you or hurts your eyes. Because I know when I put the one on the roof, when I put that one on, it's super bright, and all the reflection from the signs and that sort of thing actually becomes pretty overwhelming for your eyes and gets really intense. So this is a perfect light bar just for getting that little bit of extra light distance and spread down the road, but it's not so much that it's, you know, burning your eyes out. So I think it's a good level light bar, and it's been working really well. And the final thing I've got on the front of the vehicle is the Oricom aerial. So this is the 3 dBi aerial, and it can also be converted by screwing the top off to a longer 6.5 dBi aerial, but I usually just keep it on this shorter setting for around town and when I'm full driving in that hilly terrain. So this is paired with my Oricom DTX 4200X UHF radio in the vehicle, which has also been working great. And if you are looking for a discount on any of Oricom's gear, I'll drop a discount code below in the comments and description so you guys can save 15% on any of their gear. And now up on the roof, I've got the 42-inch Ox Beam light bar, and this thing is an absolute beast. So it's got the projector LEDs in the center there, which project down the road, and the flood out the side, which spreads the beam all around. And it works really well at lighting up down the road, but it is super bright. So you have to be real careful where you're using it, because you do get that reflection from the signs, which can really hurt your eyes. So usually I just use the smaller light bar, but when I'm heading out into the sort of real country roads where there's not that many signs, I can flick this big one on to light up right down the road. Now on the passenger side of the vehicle, I've got the Ironman 2.5 meter by 2.5 awning, and this awning has been working really great over the last couple of years at giving us that shade when we go on adventures or when we go to the beach. And the fixtures and fittings of this awning are pretty high quality, so I think they're really good. And also the canvas is a little bit higher GSM, so it's a little bit thicker than some of those cheaper awnings. So it's been working really great over the last couple of years. There's no fading and no issues with it, so perfect. Now holding all the gear to the roof, I've got the Yakima 3-rack roof rack system, and this has been working really well over the last couple of years for carrying those larger items and getting them out of the back of the vehicle. Now the rims that I've fitted to the vehicle are the Fuel Vector 17 by 8.5 inch rims, and these rims have been working really well over the last couple of years, so I haven't had any issues with them. I've got some scuffs, but it's all on the rock rings, so it is something that you could touch up later down the track. And the tyres that I've got fitted to the vehicle are the Falcon Wild Peak AT3Ws. So these have been a really good tyre over the last couple of years. So they've got about 100,000 Ks on them, and the tread wear is phenomenal. So I rotate them every service, but I think it's got some really great tread wear and some really long life out of these tyres. So these are the 275/70/17 size, so just over 32 inch. And the tread on these tyres means that they are nice and quiet on the road. It means that they are real grippy in the wet, but they do have a bit of a downfall because the tread pattern is a little bit closer than a mud terrain. They are not very good in mud or clay. So I have found that they chock up pretty quickly in mud and clay, and that is one of the downfalls of these all-terrain tyres. So in every other circumstance, every other terrain that I put these tyres in, they've worked absolutely awesome. But mud and clay is definitely one of their downfalls. So underneath the vehicle, I'm running the Outback Armour suspension, and now I fitted this suspension pretty early on in the piece when I didn't have too many accessories on the vehicle, and after fitting all the accessories to the vehicle and letting it settle in, it drives great now. So it was a little bit stiff to begin with because I didn't have many accessories fitted to the vehicle, but now it's really softened up and settled in, and this vehicle drives great now. Now down the side of the vehicle, I've got the SCF rock sliders. Now these rock sliders have been awesome at protecting the sills and the side of the vehicle here. The only issue I've had with them is the paint coating is not very good. So in the first couple of weeks of ownership, I had rust starting through the little section here, and the paint has just sort of got worse and worse over time. So it's starting to flake off in some sections here and underneath here as well. So great quality rock sliders for protecting. The paint quality, not so great. Something to keep an eye on definitely if you're looking at purchasing these rock sliders. And in the back of the MU-X, I've built a custom drawer system. So I've got a Titan drawer here and a Brass Monkey 25 litre fridge. So this is the fridge drawer. It comes out like this. So that's been working really well, and I just built a custom top and base for it and sort of put it all together. Now this is held in by metal tie down straps, so it's really easy to put in and out if I need to remove it. And on the back I've got a Redarc BCDC 1225D charger, which links to my main battery, and it charges an 85 amp hour battery on the back of the drawer system. So this battery and setup has been in for probably the last couple of years. Before that I had a different setup in the back with a fridge box. So since having kids, we needed the extra space in the back for bikes and all that sort of thing, so I changed the setup a bit. Now inside the vehicle I've kept it pretty simple, so I've just got some neoprene seat covers on the front and rear seats, got some rubber genuine Isuzu floor mats which have been okay. I think the floor mats that go up under, so the 3D floor mats, would be a lot better than the factory ones, but I just got these at the time of purchasing the vehicle. So I've also got a little dash mat up here to protect the dash. I've got a 360 phone holder up here for holding my mobile phone, and I'm of course running the Oricom DTX 4200X UHF radio, which has been working really well. Now another thing I wanted to talk about is the fuel economy that I'm getting from this vehicle. So if we go on a nice trip down the highway, this vehicle will return around 10 litres per 100. So if we're just cruising down the highway at say 110, 100 k's an hour, this vehicle gets extremely good fuel economy. So I've been really happy with the fuel economy over longer trips. Now around town, of course, that is raised a little bit, so usually around 11 to 12 litres per 100 around town. Now I still think that is some really good figures from a vehicle that is modified this much, so I've been really happy with the fuel economy of this vehicle over the last couple of years. So now that I've gone through all of the issues I've had with the vehicle, all the accessories and how they've performed, and the fuel economy, there is one question I get asked a lot on my channel that I'm going to answer in this video. The question is, if I had my time over again, or if I had to purchase a new vehicle, would I still purchase an Isuzu? Now, in researching my new vehicle purchase all those years ago, so 6 years ago, I did a lot of research into trying to find a vehicle that would have no issues or relatively small amount of issues, and something that would be really reliable over the long term. And all of my research came to the Isuzu. So at the time, 6 years ago, there wasn't that many known issues with them. So they were relatively new, the DPF models. They'd only been out for a year or two. And the previous models had been really good. So not that many issues with them. They've been really reliable. The engine had been great, and people had some really good reviews on them as being a great long-term investment. So being a mechanic over the last 12 years, I have worked on a lot of different four-wheel drives and passenger vehicles. So pretty much every make and model you could ever imagine. And I have fixed issues on every single one of them. So in saying that, I do feel like the amount of issues that I've had with this vehicle has been pretty unacceptable, and I would be looking at different makes and models in today's market, because the price of these vehicles has gone up so much more than it was in 2018 when I purchased this vehicle. So in 2018, I purchased this vehicle for 45 grand. The next sort of closest vehicle was potentially the Fortuner or the Prado. I really didn't want a Fortuner, so it was more so the Prado I was tossing up between, the Prado and the MU-X, and there was a 22 grand difference between them. So basically I was able to build this vehicle for the price of a Prado. So that is pretty much where it's at. At the time, it was the best option financially, and what I thought reliability wise at the time, I thought from the research I'd done, I should be pretty safe. But in saying that, I've had quite a lot of issues with this vehicle, and I think it has been pretty unacceptable. So in today's market, with the prices so much higher, so the MU-X is not that much cheaper than a Prado nowadays, maybe 10 grand, I'd be honestly looking at other brands and makes and models and test driving all these vehicles, and then making a decision after you've driven all the vehicles. So despite all the issues that I've had with the vehicle, I have been really happy with the vehicle's performance over the last couple of years. So we do a lot of long distance travel, and this vehicle is super comfortable, it's very safe, and it's a great family vehicle for us to travel those long distances. So the vehicle is also returning great fuel economy. It's got great power and torque for going up hilly terrain and through the mountains, all that sort of thing. And it is pretty good off-road as well. So I'd say it's not awesome off-road, but with the rear locker installed, it's greatly improved its off-road ability and how well it goes off-road. So there you go guys, that's my 6-year and 137,000 kilometer review of the Isuzu MU-X. Now if you did enjoy today's video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for more full driving, accessory fitting and maintenance videos. Cheers guys.